Hi, I'm Diana Sullivan. I'm posting some sample lessons from my beginning machine knitting course. Check out this lesson and then consider getting all 35 lessons either on 2 DVDs or on a USB flash drive. Doing these lessons can really jumpstart your skills and your confidence. Click on the link for this course as well as all my patterns and products. Loop through a loop bind off. Now this is my favorite bind off for situations where I want to bind off the entire row of knitting. It does require, however, that I be on a small enough tension that I can make it much looser for my final loose row. In this situation where I'm on tension 4, I'm going to loosen all the way up to tension 8, and I'm also going to loosen up the upper tension by just pulling some yarn down so that the upper tension springs are not pulling so hard on the yarn. Then I knit the final row across very slowly and loosely. Do you see how noticeably loose that last row of knitting is? Next, what I'm going to do is cut the yarn, leaving a tail of 8 to 10 inches. And I'm going to bring the needles completely out to hold position while keeping the knitting back behind the latches. Now this bind off is accomplished with a latch tool. This is that hook tool that we've been using for a number of techniques. As you first learn to do this bind off, which can be worked in either direction but is always worked from the end that doesn't have an end of yarn over toward the end that does have the yarn hanging. As you work this, there are 2 ways. First, when you're just beginning, put your hook in and grab the yarn and then remove the needle from it. Now the loop is on the latch tool. Then for the second one, I slip the latch tool in and I push until the old loop is below the latch and the new loop is inside the latch. Then I remove the needle and I pull the loop through a loop. I'll do that again. I've inserted in the next loop. The old loop is below the latch. The new loop is inside the latch. I remove the needle and I pull loop through a loop. However, after you do this for a while, you might like to try doing the faster method, and that is using my thumb to keep the knitting on the needles. I will take the tool and pull the loop right off the end of the needles. This is the same bind off that hand knitters do. This is also the same bind off that you would do with a linker on some machines. That's a little tool that you can crank across the bed and it does this operation. But look how easily I do it with nothing but the latch tool that came with the machine. When I get all the way across, I simply take the loose end of the yarn, hook that on the latch tool, and pull that through that last loop. Now let's have a look at this bind off and see how it turned out. I'll just get the hardware off. Here is the wrong side of the bind off, and I'm turning it a little with my fingers so you can see the chain edge. Of course, it tends to roll toward the right side. And then here is the right side of the bind off, and it's down at the bottom here. You can see how it makes a chain edge along the knitting. So it's a little bit elastic, and with the machine doing that last loose row, see how perfectly even that chain turns out. So that was the loop through a loop bind off. If you like the sample lesson, consider getting the whole course, which is available at www.dianaknits.com. And did you know I have hundreds of machine knitting videos on YouTube? Check out my channel, Diana Knits, and subscribe. I also have a blog and a Facebook group. These are all free resources to help you on your machine knitting journey.